Good morning, afternoon, and evening, wherever you are, and welcome to another NerdTube review. Today, we are talking about Titans Season 4, Episode 6, Brother Blood. I'm, of course, joined by my jolly good old Santa Claus this week. How you doing,
Hi,
Sam?
hi, hi,
Or
hi.
Santa?
Merry Christmas, my friends. How you doing, cousin Tito?
Oh, I'm excited to be here today. Excited to talk about the mid-season finale of Titans. Also here, excited to be a part of whatever fat, juicy load you're going to be laying on us from your big sack.
Oh yes, unfortunately, I was a little bit busy today, so my sack is a little bit empty. But
Uh-oh.
I can, I will refill it. I promise you that. There's always time to get some more stuff back in the sack, you know.
There's always time to get stuff back in the sack. You are right. So anyway, so we are diving in, as I said, to the mid-season finale, and we. By the way, hello, Daniel Vance in the chat. We are you are
Hello,
summoning from the
Daniel.
depths of my reality, Xanta Claus and Cousin Cheeto. By the way, I love that little Xanta emote he has there. It looks like
Uh-huh.
a darker skinned Santa, so I am
Mm.
completely on board with it. And then I
Mm.
guess I get just the orange heart, which is also very fine.
All you
So
deserve.
anyway, we start this episode off, and I'm not doing a play-by-play run through, so we're just going to kind of talk through some stuff. But we do start off the episode. I'm going to start right here because I feel like this is a very interesting part of this episode. Is um is Connor Kent kind of recovering from the snake and the magic and all that other stuff, and he goes like full-fledged Lex Luthor mode, and say Connor Luthor at this point. He uses a mirror and his eye beams to shave his head, which was honestly actually straight from um a comic book where Superman used his eye beams to shave his face. And then because
Yes.
everyone would ask the question, how do you shave your face? And he uses the eye beams to shave his face because nothing, or a kryptonite razor. But so very interesting. I honestly did not think they would go this far into it. Um, but yeah, he took a piece of the mirror, shot it, and then he just burned all his hair off, which is kind of crazy uh, in its own right, and
Have,
some very good visual effects.
have you ever seen Hancock with Will Smith?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Remember,
Yes.
remember he shaved by using his own fingers.
I mean, I did not remember that, but I'm sure that's correct.
He just
As I
put
said,
some
it's been
cream
a
on his
long
face
time
and.
since I've seen Hancock,
Okay.
but
Well, today I honor my good friend Connor Luford by putting on the Superman shirt today. This is for him, my friend.
so yeah, so just kind of and throughout this whole episode, I mean, you can definitely see where they're going with this whole Connor Luther thing. He's obviously not portraying the Man of Steel. He's portraying his other dad, which would be Lex Luthor. And honestly, I don't hate it. I really don't. He's not necessarily a villain, but he's not exactly helping. Well, technically, he is helping matters because, and I love the fact that later on when Bernard says, he said, well, he's channeling his Luther, so unfortunately, he's probably going to be right, which basically acknowledges the fact that even people at Star Labs know that Lex Luthor is brilliant. He's just crazy, but he's brilliant. So, he's like,
I was getting some of that tyrannical Superman vibes as well. Like when obviously when Superman lost Lois because the Joker
yeah,
set him
the
up,
injustice.
injustice and all of that, and then he decided, yes, I have all these powers, but now I'm going to make sure that no crime ever happens again. And I was kind of getting that vibe a little bit from Connor. It's like, okay, no more Mr. Nice Connor, you know?
Yeah. And I think this is going to kind of be how it goes. I think this is going to be how it goes until like towards the end of the season. And I think that's when we are finally going to get the reveal of Superman when Connor finally meets Superman and then something happens or they have a conversation and he realizes, oh wow, I've been an absolute douche. You know what I mean?
What Superman are we going to get?
I don't know, honestly. Do we think that they would go with Henry Cavill? Do we? I mean, I don't think so. I don't think that's not the image that was portrayed on uh on the what's it called, on the statue. I didn't get Henry Cavill vibes, but I could be
Uh,
wrong. It was just a CGI statue, so I have no idea. But
yeah, that Tyler guy, and maybe even Brandon Roof could
I
come back.
would not mind. I would not mind either of them. Tyler Hecklin's Superman would be nice, but here's the thing: is that this Superboy is literally like huge compared to Tyler Hecklin's Superman. Brandon Routh never was too super huge. Also, like the problem with this Superboy is, and you could explain it away with genetic experimentation. You know, his muscle mass is bigger because he's only half Kryptonian. So, like, because what they say is that Kryptonians are like, why are Kryptonians like so strong but yet not so muscular? Like, they're muscular, yes, but like compared to their power, and they're like, well, that's because they are more dense. Like their power or their DNA and all that is more dense, so that's why they're able to be that strong and not be like, huge. But this Superboy is massively big. Um, and even the statue of Superman did not give me vibes of like massive Superman. You know what I mean? Like, so I do like that explanation, and I do like that thought that maybe like the reason why this Superboy is so much more broader than like a Superman is because he's got that human DNA in there, which makes him stronger, like makes him bigger muscle wise because he's half human, and he's not like his genetics and everything are not as dense. Long story long and stupid explanation, but I kind of like it.
He he was for me. He really made the episode like he was very deep. Like you could see, Dick he was not happy with where things are going, and if he ended up having to confront Connor, then he would definitely need a Kryptonian
Countermeasure.
pi- countermeasure, a trick up his sleeve because there's no way he's going to be able to fight him.
Hmm.
But I did like that one scene where Connor was basically saying Raven is useless. God's powers don't work too well. You know,
Unreliable is
Tim,
the word he used.
yeah, yeah, Tim is still green behind the ears.
I don't think he
God
said it
is
that nicely.
yes, God is not feeling too good. I was like, yeah, the team is fucked. He's the only one who still kind of got it together. But even he himself, as we already seen, which he failed to acknowledge, is also vulnerable to the magic.
Yeah.
So,
And then we see that in high display later on when he goes after Mother Mayhem. And as I said, that's what I've been saying is like, that I like the way they've nerfed Connor in this season, like because they didn't just nerf him in a way that he's just like, oh, he just happens to not be here, or he just, oh, let's bench him. No, it's like he goes up full speed against these magic wielders, and he just can't keep up because magic is Kryptonian's weaknesses. So I really do like the way that they're doing this season with
and
Connor. And
and,
and oh
and I was just saying, I'm like, I really genuinely thought this would be the season which would focus on him a lot more. And obviously, it didn't feel like that after the first episode, but it's starting to feel like that again. Maybe, maybe, but it was good to see him go heal a little bit and change his outlook on life. But that's my problem sometimes. Like we are our parents to a degree, like our mom and our dad, but usually we end up being more like one or the other, not really both. We might look a little bit like both, but we tend to get the personality trait more from one parent to the other.
mhm.
And they just made it very convenient. Oh, he's half Lex Luthor, so let's make him Lex Luthor now. It's like okay, like
Well, I
Connor's
feel like
always just been a good guy. He's always been a good kid. It doesn't mean just because he's got Lex Luthor DNA in him doesn't mean all of a sudden he's going to become Lex Luthor. You
Yeah, but
know,
I do feel like this was bred out of desperation. You know what I mean? Like I felt like that, he knew he was in over his head. He knew that he was fucked with the whole magic thing. So I feel like the Luther thing is kind of like a natural response of desperation. And I get it. I know what you mean. Like he just flipped a switch and now he's Luther boy instead of Superboy, like I get it. I get where you're coming from on that one.
now I also liked that he's like I said a tyrannical Superman now, so he doesn't want to like just bring people in. He wants to kill them, and then ironically, they don't kill people, but they have killed people.
Oh yeah,
So
Corey's torched people, and I'm talking about after. I'm talking about after she became a full-fledged Titan, not even in season 1. Like
hmm
I mean, I think in season 3 she torched the one mob boss lady who killed her own son. Do you remember? I don't know if you remember that, but
I can't remember much, but I tell you this: they were fucking decapitating people just a couple of episodes ago.
yeah,
So
yeah.
like I'm glad they kind of brought the reality back to them, because the moment they killed Joker, he said no more Joker crimes, and some people, in my opinion, don't deserve to live. You can't. But I know they try to say, "Oh, we're not the law," but then being vigilantes, you're breaking the law anyway. You want your fucking cake and eat it? You know what I mean? Yeah, so yeah. So anyway, but nevertheless, what we got from Connor today, absolutely fantastic. I found him very intriguing, and also I would like to just quickly turn to God. Yeah.
That's who I'm heading to next. But go ahead.
Now, obviously, I think he's kind of been infected by the magic when he was inside Connor's body. So he whatever, but then again, he's also having those visions.
Well, and he's also yeah.
Pri-
Go ahead.
mm, he's also having those visions prior to the turning into a parasite, and also like there's some sort of time dilation as well because he initially thought that he heard Connor talking to him, and then Connor did come around and talk to him. So
Yeah.
there's all types of things going on with God, and it hasn't been, so he is for me the wild card in all of this.
Hmm. I mean, he's definitely yeah. He's the one who's get. There's definitely something because I mean, remember the guy later on in the episode was sitting there and asking him, was sitting there and asking him, or was telling him about when you see the pillar fall, when you see the pillar fall, go to the red, and then he goes to grab the heels. Wait a minute, and he grabs the guy, and it's somebody completely different. So he's definitely seeing things. It's definitely involved in magic. And at the end of the episode, which we saw, Gar says to take me to the red, and then it pulls not only him, but it pulls everybody from what it looks like to the red. They're not all vaporized. They're because I saw somebody saying online that the Titans were vaporized. Like no, it looked like Garf somehow pulled them all to the red. Um, Gar's powers this season. I'm glad he's gotten the upgrades. I'm glad he's gotten the suit that he's not naked every time he transforms. But what are we getting into here with Gar with the like with teleportation and all this stuff? It just kind of is weird. And Daniel Vance says Gar's shaman vision mentions Buddy Baker, Animal Man, and Mari McCabe
Yes, yes,
Vixen
yes,
both have control over the animal kingdom. Yes, but what
yeah.
animal can teleport?
Because
Like
he's that guy with the accent. He knows what God's about,
hmm
and he mentions those guys. And I knew those names were Easter eggs. For something, but I wasn't aware of exactly what for. I'm very glad Daniel Vance has brought that up. But yes, yes, like I said before, there's definitely more to come for him, and we also got a little bit of Raven, getting the
yeah,
powers back
I was
in.
about to say that you're yeah like Raven at the end of the episode. Raven had that. I don't want to call it an upgrade because White Raven has been a thing that's been around for a long time, and
Dude, dude,
not
she
in
looked like fucking Assassin's Creed.
a,
You know what I mean? Oh,
yep.
sorry about that. Yeah, she looked like a bloody Assassin's Creed, man. So I don't know what is up with that look, but yeah, she said
It's
White Raven.
it's basically White Raven. It's basically the counter to like Raven. I don't want to call it good energy, but it's obviously not. It's powers that are not forged from Trigon. So it is kind of weird though that she got her powers back from smashing the crystal. and then she became White Raven because honestly, White Raven happened when all of her like that's what I thought we were going to get when she lost her powers was White Raven. Because that's
Well,
the
she
like
kind of like she kind of became that when she lost her powers because her hair went white.
yeah, but still, but now she got her powers back, and all of a sudden she's White Raven. But those are the powers of Trigon. So that like what happens is like she loses her powers, and then she becomes White Raven. You know, like or you could call her Dove. I don't know. I mean, Dove seems like
No,
the
don't you can't call her dove. We already
I
have
know,
a dove.
I know.
Daniel Vaughn says all you have is a tiny boy stuff, and me with my giant snake. I think there's some double entity stuff here going on with these guys. Yes, I agree, my friend. And Jim says, hello, nerd, two birds. Hello, Jim. Hi. And yes, we we had some sort of satellites thing by Connor when it came to the blood moon. You know, like
Mhm.
they tried to use satellites to stop the blood moon from being blood moon.
Yeah, they
Uh,
repositioned 80 some satellites or something like that, like to reflect onto the moon, which then got rid of the blood moon. Which
and
I mean, what
you saw Connor go full. Now I know you're gonna be offended by this, but considering how this guy has been with his Twitter staff, wanting them to work 80 hours a week, he went full Elon Musk on his staff, telling them, "I want this done now. I want this done now. Get it done now, motherfuckers." And and
I
if
mean,
you
this
don't
coming from
recall,
the guy who enforces little people to work up in his workshop in the North Pole. I'm just saying that that's a little
well,
bit of the pot calling the kettle black.
we only have to work a little bit for like a month or something, But
Uh-huh.
nevertheless,
Uh-huh.
we all like, it's not like I'm bad with and it's not like, I'm bad with them. They love me. I'm Santa Claus.
Okay. Okay.
I am the effort. I am the I can't think of the words now, but I'm goodness personified. I'm not doing it for the money. I'm not doing it for the glean. I'm doing it because I love you. Anyway,
Okay.
Daniel Vaughn says I shave my head and wear leather jackets. I'm a bad boy now.
What you
I
gonna
and I
do about
put
it, Richard? Yeah.
yeah, and I'm gonna put my feet on the table too. It won't be long until he starts smoking. Anyway,
I'm
and I
surprised
say
when he put his feet on the table, he didn't break the table. Like, I mean, come on. He's
he
super.
knows his own. Yeah, I know, but he
I know he
knows,
knows his own strength, but I
Yeah,
thought,
yeah, because if that was the case, he could, when he's like banging girls and stuff, he'd be breaking them in half. Anyway, I changed my name to reflect my murderous father's name. What are you going to do about it, Richard? And I like the way, actually, I'm glad you brought this up. Like he called Dick Richard, and he goes, "No, I don't like you calling me that." And he goes, "What? You prefer me to call you Dick?" And he goes, "Yeah, I do. Call me Dick." You know what I mean? And I bang and nearly everyone on this fucking show anyway, so you might as well call him fucking Dick.
I know,
But
right?
still, but nevertheless, that was.
He leads with his dick mostly, so I mean,
But yeah, he said that, look, Grayson said, look, the last person to call me a Richard was your dad, Lex Luthor. And he doesn't want to be reminded of him. Yeah, which is a good point, Daniel Vance. And I like the way Connor countered by saying that, if he wanted you dead, he would have just blown up the building. Which is a good point. But yeah, we'll never know, I guess.
I mean, I'm sure Lex Luthor, if Dick had happened to die in that fight, I'm sure Lex Luthor would not have shed a tear. It maybe not what he was. Maybe that wasn't his primary goal, but like I'm sure if Dick would have been killed, it not, But I figure Lex would have known that Nightwing could have handled himself with
And
vengeance.
exactly, and if Dick did die, then so be it. That's how you look at it as well. And
Hmm.
maybe I overestimated you. Sorry, not underestimated, overestimated you. So anyway,
So let's move over for a little bit and talk about. One of the main crutches of this not crutch, one of the main staples of this episode is Sebastian. We're in now. We're getting into Sebastian's past. This is kind of like the recap episode of what happened before, and kind of like what Prodigy did this week, but I feel like this show did it better than Prodigy. But they also had 45 minutes to do it, or 50 minutes to do it. So we have the blood or whatever taking over Sebastian. And he's because this pain is starting to take him over, and really the only relief is him, drinking of the cauldron and getting in the pool of blood and accepting his fate as transitioning into brother blood. And he refuses because he only went with his mother Mayhem, because he wanted to save his friends. Because he still has an idea for him. And honestly, throughout this episode, he still didn't really betray his friends. He even said at the end, he said, "I'm tired of being nobody." So it's not like he was like, "You guys betrayed me." Rawr! No, it was more just like he's tired of being a nobody. And I mean, the thing is like, yeah, it's kind of almost like, wow, this guy's a nerd.
Well,
Like,
let's get the three stages of his flashbacks then, shall we? Well, the first one, he would return to this orphan home or the foster home,
Mhm.
and he was there and he was given a little Game Boy or something like this.
It
He's
said
playing on
Nintendo
it,
on it. It said full-fledged Nintendo, so they got some of that cheddar cheese on this one.
and then this young girl comes down looking like Wade Wilson's daughter with the eye patch, and all of a sudden the foster lady said, "Give up your bed, give up your boots, give up your motorcycle, give up everything." Give your Game Boy away. Everything like, what the fuck? Like, it's like, like it was a bit OTT for my opinion. Fine, give up your bed, but then give up your toy as well. Like, what the fuck? Like, why don't you try to make them? Why don't you say, look, why don't you put the toy away and talk to this girl? She's not going to be like your sister now and stuff like that. That's how it should have been with the foster parent.
Hmm.
But I then when they go back to the present time and Mother Mayhem is talking to him saying, you got punished for being strong and she got rewarded for being weak. That is unfortunately some of the mentality we have in today's world, where everyone wants to be alpha and everyone wants to have this image of being strong and stuff like that. But in the reality, as a society, we need to look after the weak people. That's my opinion personally, you know.
Yeah.
And and but he was kind of shown a different way of looking at things. So yes, yes. Anyway,
Also
Neelix, you're
saying
that's
that's
not Neelix.
Riker, not Neelix. It's Riker.
Neelix is Daniel Vance's dog. It's not Daniel Vance Orange dogs.
Is it
One of his dogs is called Neelix.
really? Oh,
Mm.
that poor bastard.
Mm. Oh, yes, it is.
Just
Yes.
don't call it Vance's girlfriend, otherwise the dog would die. So,
No.
all right. So, yeah, and I mean, we also get a scene where he's on a date and she.
Well, the second one he was in school.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. The second one was where he was in school. He figured out an equation that the teacher didn't, and then the teacher basically punished him for for him finding a shortcut.
Shortcutting. Yeah,
Yeah,
for one of his
shortcutting, but he wanted him to
yeah,
find the fundamental or know the fundamentals. I understand that mindset, but you should not. I understand you wanting to people to understand the fundamentals, but at the same time, you shouldn't. You shouldn't
punish him.
discourage people from figuring it out their own way as long as it's right. Like you can't.
Yeah. But
Um,
this teacher's an asshole.
yeah, well, and,
So
and we kind of
and
see
and if
why
I was
later on in the episode. I mean,
yeah, and if I was his concerned, he got showed up in front of the students, even though the students probably don't give a fuck. You
yeah.
know what I mean? But yeah, so and then he gets punished for that.
And then the third flashback was when he was with the girlfriend at a nice dinner, and she got him a portable Game Boy. So I'm guessing that this just basically triggered him. I don't know if he was going to intend on breaking up with her there, but I feel like,
I
um,
don't understand either because until I think they were hunky dory until he saw the present. And
yeah.
then he saw the present and yeah, I personally don't understand. I trying to I know they're trying to make you see, okay, look, this is what happened to him as a kid, but I don't understand why that would want him to break up with his girlfriend. I still couldn't grasp that.
Hmm.
I don't know about you. Could you
No,
make
I
any
mean,
heads or tails of it?
no, it seemed like he turned on a dime pretty quickly. And I get PTSD and all that from, but honestly, it is a smidge weak, in my opinion. Like the backbone of this is that he got his Game Boy taken away when he was younger. He got, but it all turned out in the end that all three of these people were all from the cult of blood anyway. They were plants because they were there, like they were there in hoods. And so, when Mother
Were
Mayhem
they
was,
really? That totally went over my head. I
yeah,
totally
like
missed
she
that.
said, let me show you how dedicated your followers are. And the three people in cloaks that walked up and took their hoods off were the teacher, the daughter, or the girl, the with the eye patch, and
Uh,
the
and
girlfriend.
then that's why they gave her an eye patch because you would recognize her because she's got an eye patch.
Hmm.
Yeah, because she's
So
not an
yeah,
adult, she's not
so
a child anymore. Yes.
I don't think now. I mean, I don't think that they were. I don't think that they were. That they joined after that. I think they were plants in his life, and they kind of been manipulating things the whole way. And so I don't know. I mean, it just was kind of a crazy nuts. Yeah, I was just looking at it here. Yeah, it's the girl with the eye patch, the teacher, and the girlfriend were the three cultists. So, and I agree with Daniel Vance here. It says the
Why did
cultist
I miss
reveal,
that? I
huh?
can't believe I missed that for some reason.
I
Anyway,
The cultist reveal was a bit odd, so I'm supposed to have sympathy for a group that has tortured and manipulated me my all my life. That, as I said, it is kind of weird the way they do it, but in the long run, it works out for them, which is kind of crazy. But still, um, yeah. So I don't know. I mean, and in the end, so well, before we get to the very end of the episode, I'm going to kind of cap this all off with the end of the episode. But now we're going to talk a little bit about Jinx, because I want to talk a little bit about Jinx in this episode. Um, so in this episode, they start to try to figure out how to teleport. They want to teleport Sebastian out of Mother Mayhem's lair, or whatever, the Cult of Blood lair, whatever you want to call it. I don't even remember what it's called. It's in the Hoover.
well,
It's in the
it's not
Hoover
just
Dam of
teleport. It's not
Metropolis.
just teleporting, but it's also to get the powers back for Raven as well.
Hmm. And yeah, so well, I think they were using Raven's powers as like a homing beacon. I think it's kind of what
Yes,
they were
yeah.
doing, because so they do this whole ritual. You've got Starfire's blue magic that they're using, and then they put the little smudges on Raven's forehead. And but see, the thing with Jinx is that, and I mean, they're kind of using like science and technology. They're using techno or uh techno, what is it, techno magic, where they are, they're talking about teleportation. They just don't know where they're going to materialize. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to use technology as a way to make sure they materialize where they want this person to be at a cellular level. So Jinx is using magic, Raven's using her gone magic as like a homing beacon, and then Jinx is doing the teleporting, and I'm guessing that Starfire's like the power source because they're using her blue magic. And so I like it, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, this all kind of came together rather well, very quickly.
Convenience being
Yeah.
the yes, for whatever. Let's just go with it. So
And
whatever.
and yeah, Daniel Vance, I
Eat,
do
eat,
agree. They
eat,
were.
eat.
I
Eat the
really thought they
head.
were opening the door for boom tubes. And I agree. There is a possibility for boom tubes in that whole thing. Um, so yeah, and then so towards the end of the episode, so we get to this final climactic battle. Well, okay, so I'm sorry,
Before that,
yeah,
no,
I
but
was about to say, but before
because like
that,
the cult of Mother Mayhem, they're kind of worried about this blood moon not happening.
Hmm.
There
Well,
is
they
a
were
five
worried that it
minute
was
win
going away.
exactly, and there is a 5 minute window, but Connor was very much believed that they'll be too busy panicking to realize that. And then once they hacked into Mother Mayhem's group hacked into Lukop, they
He knew where they
then
were.
and the funny thing is they said just hack into Lufcorp, but I thought they were at what's the name some what's the oh god where does the Flash in on the
Grant
Flash TV what's the name of that fucking science place?
Star Labs.
Star Labs. I thought they were Star Labs, not Lufcorp.
Well, I think no, because they were using the LexCorp satellites, so that's
Oh
why
yeah,
they
yeah.
were that's why they were hacking into the
LexCorp.
LexCorp.
So I call it Lufcorp. Sorry, Lufcorp. Yeah,
No,
yeah.
whatever.
So
LuthCorp,
yeah, yeah,
LexCorp,
yeah, 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 yeah. LexCorp. So like, but nevertheless, they hacked into that. Then Connor was able to know where they were because they were hacking, and then he goes on his own
which
in this
again
season.
is I mean the idea of him trying to figure out who's hacking in is ingenious. I mean, as they kind of make very apparent, his Lex Luthor side is good. It's just he's crazy. And of course, he does what every Titan does, like Jason Todd did. He's like, this is the new Jason Todd now of this series. Which we haven't seen it all this season, by the way. I don't know if he'll be back, um but we get now Superboy going on his own, and he's going to fight Mother Mayhem. And of course, when Superboy goes up against Magic, he just sucks hard, and he should
But
have known better.
it's always the way, isn't it? That when you're part of an ensemble and you're in this group and you decide to go solo, you get fucked. I mean, you could be a solo superhero and you're fine. But when you're part of a group and you go solo, you're fucked. And I love the way we go. It kind of reminded me of the uh, end of season one of The Boys, where Homelander, lasers, Elizabeth Shue's characters through the head. We got that with this. I thought, yeah, this is awesome. Like now Mother Mayhem is dead and Brother Bud is gonna take the reins. But no, no, no. Twist, super twist. You know, Mother Mayhem is still going.
Yep. Yeah, and that's what. And honestly, I thought it was pretty. I was like, oh god, they really went there. With Superboy, and I mean, it didn't surprise me at this point because he was Luther Boy, but I mean, like at the same time, like, oh god, okay, so maybe this will be
No,
why
but
Sebastian decides to.
he stood by what he was gonna say. We don't fuck around. No fucking taking people in. No mollycoddling. We killed them. And if anybody deserves to die, and I agree with Connor on this, it's fucking Mother Mayhem. Like she's
Yeah.
making people stabbing themselves with scissors in their eyes and shit. She needs to fucking go. So
Yep.
yeah,
So Connor gets captured, and so when Jinx, Starfire, and Raven are doing the trifecta search engine, I guess I don't know. They're using Firefox, maybe, who knows? Um, they uh, they find out that Superboy's captured. So now Connor has cost the team a strategic way out because they were going to just pull Sebastian out, and if it was just him, they wouldn't know what was going on until it was too late. However, now that they're Superboy, they can't just pull, they just can't pull Sebastian out and then Connor. And they can't pull him out at the same time. So it basically forced the Titan's hand to go in there head on. So we go into the final climactic battle of the episode. The first whole half of the season has been leading up to this. Titans show up. Uh, you've got you've got Tim and Raven who are kind of playing crowd control and trying to get Sebastian out of there. They're playing the rescuers. You got Starfire, Nightwing, Beast Boy jumping in as a freaking gorilla, just
yeah.
beating the shit out of people. Which I'm finally glad to see more transformations from Beast Boy. I'm finally glad. Like I feel like at the beginning of season 3, this guy should have been transforming into other things. Like I really felt like they really shit the bed on how him transforming and stuff like that. And then
But they're not supposed to kill anyone, and he's fucking grabbing people and smashing them on the floor.
yeah, I know, I know. I try the iron or
Like,
the coincidence is not lost
the
on me.
strength of a gorilla, a strength of a gorilla is not to be fucked with, my friend.
Mm,
You know that they will fucking kill you. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So
And so we get, so then we get the climactic battle where everybody's trying to fight, all the cult of blood people. Mother Mayhem shows up, and Starfire and Mother Mayhem are fighting, and then Jinx comes out of nowhere and she does her little freeze clap, and
and she's looking like a proper superhero
yeah, she was in an
well.
outfit.
Yeah.
So yeah,
But
so
she
they're
got cocky. She got cocky and arrogant, and she
although it,
underestimated her opponent.
and that is true, but it's just it's a little weird because I don't know, I'm trying to find it here.
Because this is trying to be tragic as well, because like Jinx had like turned the corner. You know,
Oh yeah, she got
she
that 5 million already.
but she already got the 5 million, but she didn't really. You could see in a way like she kind of stopped caring for it. There's a moment between her and Dick where Dick could kind of tell that she was improving and she was no longer being this sort of anti-hero, but really being a hero. And then obviously the tragedy strikes because
She
before
gets
we ever before we ever get the chance to see this new Jinx, she gets killed. She gets impaled, and she's dead. Eyes
no,
open,
but
no movement,
but
dead.
but here's the thing though. When she got stabbed, she says not again. So I mean, this has obviously happened to her before.
Yeah, she's been stabbed before, but doesn't mean she's been killed before.
I think it's she's been killed before, and it's magic.
Okay,
So
you know what? After what you considering you got it right last time, I won't hold with the other thing. I won't hold it against you this time. But I think did she get disappeared as well? I can't remember at the end.
I think so. I think she did. I think she did disappear with everybody else. But yeah.
Okay,
So
I will
so at
get to
the end,
that properly. But yeah,
so also so at that point, then Starfire starts laying into Mother Mayhem, and so and then all of a sudden Raven, trans as we said, Beast Boy,
Assassin's Creed.
crack, yeah, Beast Boy cracks the crystal open, and then all of Raven's powers return, and then she's White Raven. So then, of course, now so then Raven joins into the fight with Mother Mayhem, and they're just about ready to beat Mother Mayhem, and then and then Tim's like, come on, Sebastian, you don't owe her anything or something like that, and he's like, no, he's like, you know what, I'm tired of being a nobody, and he drinks from the cauldron, and then he lets out this big belch that basically, almost collapses the whole room in on him.
Black Bolt style.
Yeah, Black Bolt style, absolutely.
You
Um,
know, like there was the Legend Star Wars books, which were never made into movies because when Disney bought the rights, they went a different direction. But there were these two twins, Jason and Jacinta. They were the sons and daughter of Han and Leia. And Jason Solo, he was being lured to the dark side, and he had an opportunity. He could have just gone, stayed in the light, but he got tempted, and he decided to become a Sith. And I kind of got that vibe a little bit with old Sebastian here. Like he met good people. He was around good people. He was considered to be a good person himself to a degree. But then he got tempted, and even though he could have easily just gone back to his old life, he said, "I don't want to be a nobody anymore." And he drank that blood, and he gave a big scream, and then like Blade came out of the blood in Blade 2. He walks into the blood in this, and I'm sure he's gonna be transformed into something else, and we won't see that until next year, unfortunately.
yep. And that's the end of the episode. We
Oh,
have
everybody disappears. By the way, he screamed, and everybody disappears.
Yeah, I just went back and looked at it while you were talking. I did not see I did not see her disappear, but I also didn't see her laying on the ground or anything after it was all said and done. So
Everybody disappeared,
I think so.
even Mother Mayhem.
No, Mother Mayhem did not. Mother Mayhem was still with him there. No, I'm telling you, whatever guard did transported everybody out. So
Ah, so it wasn't what Brother Blood did, it was what God did.
yeah, it's what guard did because he said take me to the red, and then that's when everybody started disappearing. So
Do you think he, like, like we saw like maybe a moment of a time loop or time travel a little bit when he heard Connor's voice, and then when he responded to Connor, Connor wasn't there until Connor did appear and said the same thing. So maybe it's not necessarily transporting, but time travel,
yeah,
maybe.
but how would what? Okay, and I'm not saying it's out of the realm of possibility, but what does that have to do with Gar?
I know this is what
Like,
this is what I don't get. Why the fuck is older people? Why him?
yeah, like I'm sorry, like Beast Boy is like he's Beast Boy. If you have to like if there was a time traveling bug or a time traveling walrus, okay, but it's like there's not like it. Like it's how does that have anything to do with Gar?
They they better fucking give a valid explanation, and then it'll be like a one time only deal or one season only deal. Because
Oh,
honestly, like,
Xanta, you're now being introduced to.
oh no, no, this person is gonna get a big lump of coal from me. No, this is not good. You need to be have chastity and never have sex in your entire life ever, because sex is our parents didn't do it, our parents didn't do it, nobody does it. Okay, sex is bad. All right. uh,
All right. Well, Zam, why don't or I'm sorry, Xanta. I can't. I'm sorry. I'm so used to doing these with Zam.
no, it's
Xanta.
okay. I know we get mistaken often. I totally understand.
Yeah, I know. Total white dude here, getting all the dark skinned
Mm-hmm.
people mixed up. Okay, so I'm gonna put the poll together here for everybody out there in the comments so they can leave their comments. But I want to know what you thought and what your ranking is on this episode.
This actually, for me, was probably the best episode of the season so far. I have been bitching about this show. I do have my issues with it, but I thought this episode was pretty good. We had some twists and turns, obviously with the heel turn of Connor, and some of the flashbacks regarding Brother Blood, and the big fight at the end and all of that. It didn't feel like a continuous Dick Grayson episode, even though his presence was in this episode. It wasn't always about him, which is honestly that one of my major issues about this show. It's always about fucking Grayson.
No, this episode did feel like they shared the wealth really well between Jinx and Gar and especially Superboy. Like I really felt like those were and obviously Sebastian was also another character that they got. But yeah, I really feel like that this episode was definitely a bit, there was more of a shared of wealth in this episode. Did you get I didn't think you gave your
I'm gonna give it my mark now.
okay.
I'm gonna give this an 8 out of 10. I thought this was a big improvement of an episode. I questioned. I mean, there could be a whole bunch of logical fallacies in an episode, but sometimes I'm willing to overlook that if I'm having a good time. And I was having a good time with this episode. So, regardless of some of the illogical fallacies or logical fallacies, even, uh, I enjoyed myself enough not to care. So, 8 out of 10 for me.
I as
Um,
well will give it an 8 out of 10. Gar's power has to be Native American spiritual. It's all about magic, and they've went to the eyes one too many times. Window to the soul. Okay.
But
Uh,
he had that guy who spoke to him earlier, as we
yeah.
mentioned. I'm sure he has something to say with it. And Daniel Vance also says this episode at least kept me engaged, and for that I'll give it a 6, better than average in my opinion. All right, 7, but only for Raven looking stunning in a white dress. Yeah, she looked Assassin's Creed. I'm telling you, Assassin's Creed. That's the first thing I thought of when I saw her have that white outfit on. But what were you gonna give it, cousin Chito?
I'm giving it an 8. I thought it was very. I again, this is definitely one of the stronger episodes. I do love the fact, as I said, I love Nightwing. Obviously, I love Dick Grayson. Um, but you know me, I'm always happy about when they share the wealth with other characters. And yes, this was definitely a Superboy, Gar, and who else did I say? And Jinx episode. So I'm very glad that they kind of shared the wealth this episode, and it wasn't all Dick Grayson wasn't kind of like the focal point, because that did season 3 sometimes did feel like the Dick Grayson show, and everyone else was just kind of there. And I understand it was Gotham, but still, I was kind of still like, okay, guys, like Dick Grayson can't be the only person who does anything on this team.
Yeah, even like with like Tim as well, like him he's talking to his new lover boy, and they're wondering what's gonna happen. Like, is he gonna go back to Gotham? You know, and all of that. Because yeah, they do work in different cities, so
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna be an issue for them. If they want to have a relationship, and if Tim is gonna be some sort of nighttime street vigilante, it's gonna be even more of a fucking issue. You
Which
know.
I kind of feel like I really was kind of hoping they would do more train. And I know it's kind of been nonstop action since like episode like 2 or 3, but I mean, I kind of was hoping they would do more training with Tim. So maybe at like the mid season finale, we would get Nightwing, or not Nightwing, Tim in the Robin suit. Uh, As I'm not saying that he should have been a skilled Robin at that point, just to see him in the Robin suit at that point, at least so he has armor on and he's not there in his street clothes. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying he's going to be some like bow wielding ninja motherfucker with that Kubo staff, but like I definitely wanted him to be, maybe like show up in the armor and just be like, look, I got to protect myself. We're going into the hornet's nest here. So,
Yeah, I agree, but I feel that a lot of his training is going to be off screen.
and
So
and if there is a time skip between the mid, like they could do that. Like, just because Brother Blood went into the blood, now does not mean it's like he's this is going to, there might be a time skip here. There might be some time when like the Titans are gone and
and
um
where are they gone?
to the red, which is that tree.
Okay.
I know. I don't know. That's the one thing we need answers to, is what is the red? Why are they there? How did Gar get them there?
Well, you said that, but it felt more like the screams made everyone disappear than what God did personally. It looked like that to me now. Don't get me wrong. Maybe God. That's why it's supposed to look like, but in reality, is that God saved them. Okay, fair enough. But we'll
And I mean,
see. I
maybe,
guess we'll see.
but I mean, maybe Gar, because when I watched it again, it looked like Gar kind of dissolved into red, and it kind of looked like everybody else just disappeared.
Yes, yes,
So,
yes, yes, yes.
so
He
I,
did.
I'm not
Yeah.
saying I'm not saying you're wrong. Like, I'm not. Gar could have gone to the red, and then everybody else could have gone somewhere else. I don't think they're dead, obviously, but like everyone else could have gone somewhere else. So I don't know if that's kind of what we're looking at. Like, I mean, maybe you're right. Maybe only Gar went to the red, and then something happened with all the Titans, and now Gar has to come back and save them after he deals with the red or whatever that is. I don't know. More
Yeah.
answers, or more questions than answers at this point, in my opinion. But
So
it's only the mid-season finale.
here's another question for you. When is this shit coming back?
I think it was January. Hold on, I can look. Um, da. Actually, it doesn't have a return date yet. Yet, I heard it was coming back in January, but
Then your answers. You got any answers? God damn it. Well, I think of it like this. Sometimes, I mean, with not American, but with network television, just generally, they sometimes get a bit concerned with the Christmas period, and they worry that it might get lost in the mix, which is why it seems to me that a lot of these mid-season breaks happen during Christmas.
mhm. I more support that I think that Gar went to the red and not anyone else. um Gar took them into the mycelial network or something. He learned viruses, so super organisms seem like a good next step. Yeah, that could be the mycelial network. Stamets. He's going to meet Stamets in there. Actually, no. The name of episode, they've already released the names of the episodes. The name of episode 7 is "Dude, Where's My Gar?" So I'm pretty sure.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
So I'm guessing that Gar is in the red and the Titans are somewhere else. I'm going to settle on that because based on
I
that
by the
next.
way, I have seen that movie, Dude, Where's My Car? And the only thing I remember is the dude and sweet moment with the tattoos on their backs and how they're both going crazy because they're trying anyway. But fuck that movie. A lot of people love that movie. I think it's a big pile of bollocks, as Zam would say.
Okay, well, I think that kind of wraps it up. I mean, th- uh, just so everybody knows, me and Zam are, or I'm sorry, me and Xanta here, as well as Zam, are not caught up on Doom Patrol, so we will not be doing Doom Patrol reviews. But those will be Doom Patrol will be starting next week, and for the next couple weeks after that. But we will also be here for our normal Star Trek reviews on Thursday. God help my soul, because Prodigy is on right now. And Wednesday we're doing Willow, so we're kind of down to 2 reviews a week unless we find something else to review. Or
Tulsa King on Monday. I'm doing.
I'm sorry, Tulsa King. You are correct.
I might be. I'll be doing that with Ginger. I think maybe
Yeah, Xanta's going to be taking Zam's place by doing Tulsa King reviews also on you. What was it, Monday or Tuesday? You said.
Monday.
So Monday. So, and then Tuesdays, of course, our weekly fan film reactions. So we still have plenty of content here on the channel. We're putting out
And
Monday through
there's
Thursday.
loads of stuff that we know, which which myself or Tito or whoever, or like Ginger Greek, just the other hour or so, we might spontaneously review. Like he just did a review of uh Violent Night, which is a Christmas movie version of Die Hard with Santa Claus in the in as the main protagonist. So there are other stuff, that we will review if we feel up for it. So check it out. The greatest channel you never heard of. It's all we got reactions galore and everything. We
Yeah.
have a big fat sack of stuff.
And you know what? When we're light on content, now's a great time to go back in the old playlists and find some old fan film reactions to watch, some old reviews to watch, maybe. I mean,
Hmm.
we've been doing this for quite a while, so you might find some little nuggets of joy back there. There's also some ranking videos we did back in the day. We don't do them as often anymore because we're really focusing on the reviews. But go on back, and if you joined us just in the past couple months, go on back, check it out. It's all good content. We've been we or Milk Toast Gaming, Daniel. Thank you very much for
Oh
the
yeah,
plug there. Milk Toast Gaming, my gaming channel. I do lots of gaming and uploads and retro games and modern games, and actually my son is on there too, Agent Tim Gamer. So shameless self plug. So
and the
Xanta,
golden glasses.
I was just going to say, Xanta, are we so we I was just going to say, are we ready for this announcement? So
Let's do
we
it.
all right, so everybody pay attention because we've got a special announcement that's going to be coming at the end of this month. And that
Mm.
is the Golden Glasses Awards. That is going to be our big uh, award show for the year. We're gonna have, and hold on, I'm bringing up my notes right here. We're going to have several categories, like the best show, best game, worst game, best returning show. So we're gonna have a lot of those generic awards, but we're also going to have some other things that people can vote on, like best Ginger reaction, best Zam reaction, uh, I'm just looking through some other stuff. Most shocking moments. We've got a bunch of categories here. Most shocking news. Um, yeah, another did I subscribe to the wrong channel award? You'll have to wait to see what that one's all about. But those are some of those are going to be People's Choice Awards. But and then there's also going to be some that we pick as a group here on NerdTube, like best worst game. And also we will put it out there for fans of the channel to also pitch their votes. We will also have our last year we did our top 10 and bottom 5 fan films. That will now the best and worst fan films will now be rolled into the Golden Glasses Awards. So that will be coming at the end of the month. I want to say it'll be December 31st. I do believe we are doing a recording prior to, but it will be uploaded and debuting. We'll probably do a premiere, so it won't be live, but it will be premiered for all of you. This is something that me and Block and Zam, when he was still around, was doing. And now Xanta, you're just going to have to assume any roles to help out until December 24th, and then of course Zam will be here for the Golden Glasses on December 31st. But yes, we are going to end the year with our Golden Glasses. I'm very excited. This is my kind of shtick. I love doing this award shit. It makes me happy in my soul, and that's what I want for Christmas, Santa. I want the Golden Glasses Awards for Christmas, and we're gonna make it happen. So, Xanta, what do you?
Ask and you shall receive, my friend.
That's right. So, with that all being said, everybody, thank you very much for joining us here for this review. I've had a blast here with Xanta. I cannot wait for more Titans to come back next year. If you haven't already, please consider liking this video, leaving a comment. What do you think about this episode? What do you think about the Gold Glasses Awards? We'll be mentioning it more and more throughout the month, but there's going to be more stuff starting next week coming out, like the fan votes and stuff like that. So keep an eye on our community tab on the channel. We're going to be bringing all that to you guys. And if you haven't already, subscribe. Please subscribe. We are a growing channel. We put a lot of effort in here. We make it as entertaining as possible. And we are so very happy to be doing what we love, which is talking about nerdy shit all the time. So please just consider joining us here when we do our stuff and have fun. Jump in the chat and let's have a go about it. Xanta, thank you very much for joining me. Daniel Vance,
Thank
thank you
you.
very much for being here. Cheers to everyone and have a great weekend and happy holidays. That's right. And we will catch you guys in the next one. Catch you later.
Bye bye bye. Hi hi hi.